Miami 2025. After 2/3 of that triple header being great, we now move on to the standalone race before another triple header. With a new championship leader of Oscar Piastri, will Norris be able to bounce back on a track he got his first win? Can Verstappen outperform that Red Bull again? This is everything you need to know for the Miami Grand Prix 2025. Now, heading into this race, important news-wise, there's actually only really one thing, and I can't even call it news, because it is just of all the rumours with Jack Doohan. So, it's quieting down a bit over at Alpine, whether or not he'll lose his seat or attain it. But, obviously, coming into Miami, this was the circuit, before or after, that potentially was going to be the one where he would lose his seat if it was going to happen this season. So, just keep an eye on Jack Doohan, because if he has a dreadful weekend, coming into the triple header, I do worry about him a little bit. However, if he can just perform a little bit better this weekend, maybe get in the top 12, I think that'll be okay, then I'm sure he would be able to keep his seat heading into the next race of Imola. But for now, he's skating on thin ice, and he needs to be very careful. And now heading into the stats of Miami, it's quite a new circuit. So, most wins actually goes to Max Verstappen, who, I mean, it's still great because he's got the most wins, is only 2 wins around this circuit. Now, of course, like usual, it's nothing crazy for me to say, oh, keep an eye on Max Verstappen, he's going to be there or thereabouts. We know this about Verstappen. Red Bull looked great in Jeddah, so Verstappen will definitely be trying to fight at least both the McLaren boys. But also, Lando Norris is the other race winner here with 1 to his name. Of course, he got his first race win here. So, like I mentioned right at the start of the video, if there was any track for Lando Norris to bounce back on, it would be the Miami Grand Prix. And then heading into Europe, that would be such great momentum for him. Then for most pole positions around Miami, and it's actually a three-way tie at the minute between Verstappen, Leclerc and Perez. Now, of course, Perez can't add to that tally. However, Verstappen, very good on the Saturday, so don't put it past him to be able to get pole position. I don't think Leclerc's got it in his locker. So if anyone was to go and get a second pole position to their name, it would be Verstappen. However, for me, I do think there's going to be a new pole sitter for Miami in 2025. And then looking at the overtakes, we had 41 overtakes around this circuit in 2024. Now, of course, this is using the sprint and the actual race. So, yes, quite a lot of action to look forward to. However, bear in mind, this is on the lower end of the sprint race weekends for overtakes. But hopefully Miami can be good because, like usual, we're going into another race where the championship could flip-flop so easily. Now, session information that you need to know. Of course, it is a sprint race weekend. What does that mean? Non-stop action throughout the weekend. So you have no rest on that Friday. It's Friday, Saturday and Sunday, all with something important happening. Now, Practice 1 is the only practice session we will have, so the teams have to get their cars right heading into sprint quali, otherwise it's kind of wraps for a lot of the rest of the weekend. And this will also be the same day that sprint quali takes place. So on Friday we have practice 1 and sprint quali, Saturday we have the sprint race and the actual qualifying, and then Sunday we have the big full race to look forward to. So with this all said and done, let's head over to your weatherman. Good morning, Miami. This is your weatherman, Zach GP, and my oh my, do we have an interesting weekend weather-wise. As we head into this weekend on the Friday with sunny skies, 0% coverage of rain, it should be pretty smooth sailing for those first few sessions. However, the same could not be said for Saturday and Sunday. Now, Saturday's coverage of rain looks a lot lower. It could be around 10 to 20% in the Miami area. So I'd be surprised if we did get rain in the sprint race or the qualifying. However, it's Sunday where you're going to need one of these. The race starts at 4 o'clock track time. And guess when the rain starts coming down? Yep, it's supposedly at 4 o'clock as well. Now, the chance of rain is still actually quite low, as today, as of editing, it's dropped down to 30%. However, it has been flip-flopping around 30% to 70% over the last few days, so just don't be surprised if we do see any rain on race day. So, all weekend long, it's going to be around 30 degrees highs with the lows of the low 20s, but rain on the forecast, potentially. It does annoy me, as Limitless is probably this weekend, and it's most likely the weekend where you're going to have to still do it, even if there's a bit of rain. F1 Fantasy's a never-ending drama because there's always something going on, but that's what we like. But anyway, that is all from me now. Back to you in the studio. Thank you very much, Weatherman. And now it is time to look back into the past and look at the top 5 things that happened in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And at number 5, we had a Williams masterclass with Carlos Sainz coming 8th with Alex Albon in 9th. Now, what makes this so special is because we had the charging Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bull, and my god did he have a lot of pace, but it did not faze Williams as they did some masterful tactics, letting Albon stay 1 second within Carlos Sainz, keeping both of them 8th and 9th. That is great teamwork, and that is what we need to see from Williams a lot more, and hopefully they can hit that 100-point threshold that I really want them to hit this season. Coming in at number 4, we had a Leclerc podium. Now, coming into this weekend, that was brilliant for me because, of course, my forfeit challenge was if Ferrari did not get a podium, I'd have to do the Ice Bucket Challenge, but thank God Leclerc did, and wow, it was pretty close. Ferrari actually had a brilliant strategy for Leclerc, pushing onto the mediums on the second part of the race, and he even kept Lando Norris at bay. So well done to Leclerc, a very well-deserved podium. Hopefully we'll start seeing Ferrari a lot more on a podium now. Then coming in number 3, and we have another Lando Norris bottle job, but this time in qualifying. He crashed his car in Q3 after looking so fast in all the practice sessions. In Q1, in Q2, it looked like he was in the showdown for pole position, binned it, and then started the race in 10th. And from that point in Jeddah, it's pretty much game, set and match, as he could only manage to get back up to 4th. By the way, that is good considering all the dirty air and trains you can get stuck behind in Jeddah. However, for the championship fight, that is not good enough, as because of all of this drama, he now lost his championship lead. Coming in at number 2, we have the big crash of the whole weekend, which was between Tsunoda and Gasly. Now, both of them are friends, and I both believe they are saying it is a racing incident, and I have to agree. Yuki Tsunoda doesn't have to give up his position just because Gasly's on the outside, but the exact same thing applies to Gasly. He doesn't have to back down just because he's on the outside as well. Both of them kind of just wanted the corner. Both of them didn't get it, crashed out. And it was a shame that it was Yuki, as it looked like he could get more points in that Red Bull. However, I'm sure both of them will bounce back stronger than ever in Miami. And then coming in at number 1, we of course have our lap 1 drama with Verstappen and Piastri. Now, do you think it was a penalty? Comment down below whether you think it was or wasn't. For me, I'm not biased, but yeah, it was harsh, but it was a penalty, and that's what I love about Piastri. He'll play hard and fast, not like Norris, and will drive like Verstappen against Verstappen, which makes things so great to watch. But overall, in Jeddah, we had a podium of Piastri in first, Verstappen in second, and Charles Leclerc in third place. 3 different teams on the podiums. Can we get the same in Miami? I doubt it, but F1's looking juicy. So now, let's head over to the predictions. Now, heading into the predictions for the Miami Grand Prix, I actually came up with a little bit of an issue getting into this part, as F1 Predicts, which is now what I like to use for the predictions going into every weekend, well, they've still not updated. So, a bit annoying considering the race weekend starts in 2 days from me recording this segment. What the hell are they doing? So we're just going to have to go proper old school, but it doesn't affect the forfeit this weekend. And my forfeit, I've been battering on about it all this video, where Lando Norris, if there was going to be any race that he bounces back on, it would be Miami. And well, if Lando Norris does not get a single win this weekend, so that counts as the sprint race or the race, double whammy for if he gets sprint race and the race, I will spin the disaster wheel, which will have multiple different spice levels, whatever the readings is, I can't remember, and I will have to do a shot of that hot sauce. Now, I'm not looking forward to this because I remember last time I did this like a year or so ago, I did one of the hottest ones, and I was struggling for the next few days. But Lando Norris, I have faith in you. Please just get 1 win this weekend. My God, I can't be asked to be doing all of this rubbish if it does, but we'll have to do it. Then, for actual predictions coming into Miami, my top 3 for the race will be Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and Maxi Taxi. I still think Max will overperform that Red Bull, and considering I don't see anything crazy at the minute from Mercedes or Ferrari to give me that edge to put them in that podium position, I'm happy with that. Best of the rest, I'm going to go with Gasly. He had a good chance of doing it in Jeddah until the crash. In Bahrain, he looked very good as well, so I think he's going to continue that trend and get more points in Miami, being the best of the rest. Biggest surprise, I'm going to put down as Fernando Alonso, and what do I mean by that? I mean Fernando Alonso hopefully will get points in the sprint race or the actual race. I just want him to come out of this weekend with actual points, because I still can't stand seeing Lance Stroll so many points ahead of him. It just doesn't seem right considering where Lance Stroll is right now as well. But those are all my predictions for the Miami Grand Prix. I will update everyone on my Twitter and Discord. Follow them if you want to hear my actual F1 predictions, as they should be coming out soon. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I put this video out and they refresh it. That's just what my luck is sometimes. But anyway, that is the predictions for the Miami Grand Prix. So finally, let's head over to the ZachGP analyst, who will now give an overview of the circuit.
The Miami International Autodrome debuted as a circuit in 2022, with fake water scattered all over the track. There are 57 laps, 3 DRS zones, and 3 areas to overtake. So with it being a sprint race weekend, there should be plenty of fighting to happen this weekend.
Thank you very much, Bear, for that in-depth analysis of the Miami circuit. And that is everything that you need to know for the Miami Grand Prix this weekend. I'm really hoping that we do get a bit of mixed conditions for racing-wise. F1 Fantasy-wise, I'd rather it didn't, but you know, at least if my Limitless doesn't go well, at least I'll have some great racing from the sounds of things. What do you all think in the comments down below? Do you think Miami will be better than the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix? And make sure to keep an eye on the latest coming out of the F1 world, as we haven't seen any special liveries yet. However, we got quite a few last season, so don't be surprised if any news comes out on that. But as always, if you like what you saw, like and subscribe. Make sure to turn notifications on, and I will be back on your screens on Friday for my F1 Fantasy post-sprint quali analysis. But anyway, see you all later. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.